In update 1.26.1, they also are going to add quite a lot of tanks for testing by the Super Test players, which is basically the next step they usually do. And we have 7 tanks to talk about. We have 7 tanks to look at in total in this video. Tanks which are, kind of hidden in the game files on the update 1.26.1. We have SFAC, KV4, Turch over here. We have the Erich Konzept I, M103M, the Contradictious is already added to the game files, by the way. This is the weird double-barrel gun system, or the twin-barrel gun system as they called it. Basically a new mechanic for double-barreled guns. Talked about that in one of my previous videos. Then we have the ST66, and also we have FV226, which is a hard-hitting Czech fully rotatable turret tank destroyer sniper tank destroyer, or however I have to say that. Some of them are very interesting actually, and all those tanks were listed in the update 1.26.1's patch note list. So what we can expect very soon is some of them ending up on live battles played by the Super Test players. So let's take a quick look at them and let's talk about those tanks a bit, because I have covered some tanks on the channel but not seen the full models yet, and there are some tanks which I have not covered on my channel actually before. And we're getting closer to the loot boxes, guys, and some of them definitely could end up over there in one way or another. And we have potential reward tanks over here, or future assembly shop tanks as well, looking at the DBV. And I believe let's start with this tank right over here, which is called SFAC 105. This is the tier 8 French double-barrel tank destroyer, the first double-barreled French tank in this game. And I think we can also classify this as kind of a new gun system in World of Tanks, because even though it does have 2 barrels, so it is technically a double-barrel tank, but it works quite a bit differently, or let's say it has quite some gimmicks to it. Now, at first I was looking at the gun stats, minus 8 degrees of concentration, which is very nice. 69, I bet they made this on purpose, especially based on the name as well, guys. 69 to the left, 69 to the right, counter-burst limit, very good aiming time, but dispersion, 0.40 dispersion, that is pretty bad, right? Top speed, amazing, 60 top speed, 20 moving backwards, power to weight ratio helps to back it up as well. So, what is so special about that, guys, right? And the dispersion, I guess, base dispersion is so bad because the gimmick of this tank is that it has an experimental aiming device providing quick aiming time, boosting this even more, I guess, and enhancing accuracy and gun stabilization during salvo preparation. So while you prepare your salvo, your accuracy, your dispersion could, be absolutely amazing, which helps you to hit your double shots. However, preparing the salvo also reduces the maximum forward speed by 50%. But I would say from 60 down to 30, this is still pretty good. So this is what is gimmicky about the SFAC 105. You preparing your shells in 3 seconds, and during those 3 seconds your gun handling is going to be boosted quite significantly. And when you do take the salvo, when you do take the double shot, your reload will be 4 seconds longer, basically, because of the lock time. And the reload time between shots is also not very terrible, actually, only 4 seconds. So you can take 390 damage into one tank and then 390 damage into another tank, all in 4 seconds, which is, for double barrel tanks, this is classified as kinda fast. So this is the SFAC 105, one of the tanks coming to the game, and already past the Super Test, or Super Test players are going to be testing it very soon. Next up we have the KV4 Turch over here. The long name, what was the long name? Turchaninov. So what is this, or why, or how is this tank different to the already existing KV4? Basically is that this tank has more DPM than the KV4. It has the 300 alpha damage gun, 2318 DPM. It is, as they said, it is basically made for close quarters fighting. And if we go to the armor layout over here, tier 8, KV4, holy moly, how many premium tanks we have over here. You can see the armor model versus 225 millimeters of penetration. So, you know, side scraping over here and over angling your tank is basically where it is at with this vehicle. But, you know, I would not count on the armor in nowadays World of Tanks too much anyway. So this tank has 2317 DPM compared to the KV4. Which has 2200. So actually not that significant and not that different. I don't even know if I would play this tank over the standard KV4. Honestly, this one didn't strike me with anything very significant, like no mobility. Yes, the armor over here 180, but as we just looked at it, it didn't feel very good. Gun handling 2.21 second aiming time, 0.37 dispersion, minus 6 degrees of gun depression as well. Yeah, I don't know. Not very excited about this, to be honest, unless I'm missing something very obvious, a 350 meter view range as well. By the way, keep in mind, guys, all of those specs over here, all of those stats over here are not final and are still subject to change, of course. Next up, this is the tank, by the way, the KV4 Turch, I think I have not covered before, but this one I have, and this is one of the German upcoming sniper tanks, sniper support tanks. Simply, if you take a look at the firepower stats over here, it is a very accurate 0.29 base accuracy, a decent aiming time, 2400 DPM, 400 alpha, good penetration, minus 10 degrees of gun depression, and it is fast as well, 65 top speed. So this could be very, very deadly in right hands, as it is a tier 9 tank as well. And if we take a look at the ammunition choices over here, so you have APCR and you have heat with 320 penetration, and high explosive has 60 millimeters of penetration and bumps the DPM up to 3000. But you know, how often are you able to use that DPM anyway? But it does not have much armor. It does have some slope to it. So let's take a quick look at this tank as well. Tier 9 on the public test. This is the Erich Konzept I KPZ. And the armor model looks like this. Well, yeah. It's a green tank, guys. I guess nothing more to say. It's a green tank. So, very sniperish German tank coming. We have quite a lot of them already in tier 9. You know, we have the Kunstpanzer, we have Leopard PTA, now this one as well. This seems to be kind of the German theme going all the way around. I can see this tank being a premium tank, I can see this tank being a Battle Bass tank as well. Although, Battle Bass, we already have Gunze, maybe not. Also, by the way, this had minus 10 degrees of gun depression, so very comfortable, seems to be like very comfortable to play, and as I said, quite deadly in the right hands. Next up, we have M103. And no, guys, this is not your Tech 3 copy-paste tank of M103. This is actually a completely different tank. Well, actually, the only difference is the gun. The gun, everything under the firepower is different, but everything under here is the same. Same top speed compared to the Tech 3 version. Same armor values over here. 34 top speed, 12 moving backwards. Everything over here is the same, but the difference is the gun. It doesn't have 120mm gun. It has a smaller caliber, but it has better gun handling and slightly better DPM as well. Let's say around 180, 200-ish better DPM with 1.73 second aim time. Honestly, very comfortable. 0.34 dispersion, very nice as well. And minus 8 degrees of gun depression is what I classify as a good gun depression. So M103M is honestly not much to talk about. If you're a fan of M103, I guess you are going to like this tank as well. I am a fan of M103 actually. maybe hot topic. Many of you do not like that. I kinda do like that. Yes, it has many weaknesses and weak spots, but I don't need a tank. I do not need a tank to be OP, to simply like it, right? So that is the M103. Now, Contradictious, guys, this is what I covered in one of my previous videos. Please go check it out. In-depth, kind of an in-depth preview of this gun system and how I think it is going to work. So basically, long story short, this is a double-barrel tank with a differently working double-barrel system. While in 703 DS54 you are able to take a shot one by one, you are able to take a shot, then wait 5 seconds, take another shot before your other gun is loaded, but not over here. You have two separated firing modes. You have single fire mode in this Contradictious, where you are only able to fire one gun at a time, and you are able to fire your left gun after your right gun is loaded, and you're able to, after that, you're able to fire your right gun after your left gun is loaded, for example. And the salvo switch time, aka the firing mode time, is 2 seconds, and after you click the X button by default, switching this tank into the double-barreled mode, into the salvo mode, then in this mode you are only able to fire double shots. And here are the dispersion values as well. And this is what I was talking about also in my video, that this dispersion is a little bit, off, feels a little bit off. But then many people in the comment section also said that most likely this is simply two aiming circles combined into one area, because this tank also gets the oval-like aiming circle in the salvo mode, and the reticle, the aim point, is the center point between two guns. So, this could be because of that. Of course. Also minus 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very comfortable, and it has a kind of sick armor, which we looked at as well. So once again, the most special thing about this is that you are able to use this tank as a single shotgun, always having to wait for the full reload before firing the next gun, or only the double shot salvo firing mode with 21.09 second reload and 720 alpha damage. So could be kind of a gimmick actually, and if this dispersion actually makes sense how we thought about that, then it could be a force to be reckoned with. Switching quickly, switching the firing mode very quickly, peeking the corner, and with a simple mouse click you can do 720 damage, because in the salvo mode you do not have the preparation time. One click is enough to fire two guns at once. Gives you a lot of flexibility actually. And one final thing to note: the flaps over here, or the gun covers over here, are actually actively working. It covers the gun which is not able to fire. So if you're using this tank in a single fire mode, always one gun has those covers closed up, and everybody can see in which firing mode you are. If both are open, that means you are in the salvo firing mode. Moving on to the next vehicle, ST66. Honestly, nothing special about this tank besides the tracks, but we have already seen this type of track system on phase 1, for example. It has armor for a medium tank. It has a very weird, actually stupid weird shape. It is, I don't know why, it looks like limousine. It looks like someone in the garage turned a standard vehicle into a limousine. And this gives me the same vibes over here. Coming in with 300 alpha, interior 217 penetration, minus 6 degrees of gun depression, is very much not comfortable. 1.82 aiming time, 0.35 dispersion, 2,300, let's say, average damage per minute. What else over here interesting? 50 top speed, that's kind of nice, but 18 power to weight ratio, not the best. And let's actually take a look at the armor of this tank as well. Medium tank tier 8, and SD66 right over here. So versus 217 of APCR pen. Yeah, armor is, armor is going to be the bread and butter of this tank, for sure. Side scraping, can't over-side scrape too much. If you load in heat with 290 pen, well, things become a little bit easier, a lot easier actually, but frontal is still kind of tough. So, yeah, it is going to be one of those tanks which, because of its gun depression, could be kind of annoying tank to play with, and at the same time could be annoying tank to play against, but you can't overside scrape too much in it. What is the side armor? 60. Because the overmatching or the penetration angle comes in to play very fast, even with APCR, as you can see over here. Yeah, 60 millimeters over here, and you can't angle it much. This is going to be the biggest problem. And those side turret ring over here is a massive, massive weak spot, actually. So this is SD66. Not the craziest DPM for a medium tank, like okayish DPM. Not the best dispersion either, I would say. This is actually pretty damn bad dispersion. I don't know. Like, so far, the only thing it shines with is the armor. SD66 is on the test files and was mentioned in the batch notes. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about one big hitter. Czech Tier 10 tank destroyer. Czechoslovakian tank destroyer. This one over here looks pretty menacing, actually. Fully rotatable turret, and it has a very interestingly shaped gun tip. Okay, let's not focus on that too much, right? And what is special about this vehicle is its alpha damage and accuracy for this type of alpha damage, guys. 770, not 750, not 800 or anything. 770 alpha damage. Base reload over here 19.27, minus 7 degrees or 7 degrees of gun depression. Good aiming time, 1.73, very good actually. 0.33 dispersion and 2,400 DPM. 1,800 hit points, which was actually nerfed a bit. I remember it had 1,850. All those tanks which I showed over here, I think the versions we are looking at right now are the so-called balanced versions of those tanks. So they have already seen some buffs or some nerfs. And also this one coming in with quite a nice mobility, 22 power to weight ratio, 50 top speed and 18 moving backwards. So repositioning with this is very nice. And because it is fully rotatable turret, you can do the side peaks with this and simply pull away quite quickly with this type of mobility. Also it has 390 meter view range. Back to the comparison, let's take a look at some other details over here, like the heat pen, 325. Okay, so this doesn't come with the highest penetration. We have so many tanks and tank destroyers in tier 10 that get the 395 millimeter heat penetration. So this 325 is definitely on the lower side, and it doesn't go through everything automatically. High explosive, 980 alpha damage, 76 pen. So high explosive also is not the greatest actually. So I would say this AP round over here is the best one to get. Shell velocity 1160, heat has 880. Yeah, this heat round, is not the greatest, not the craziest heat round for sure. Maybe the perfect shell is helping to tune it a little bit. So even looking at this list over here, what they mentioned in the update 1.26 patch notes, guys, which tanks were added to the game client or are going to be added to the main game client as well for super testers to test out. I think this is one of the more interesting tanks. The KV4 honestly did not impress me in any way. The Escape is that I like those type of tanks, I like this type of gameplay, so for me it is kinda nice, but do we need another one? You know, that's a question, but I do like the playstyle. M103 I do like as well, but you know, nothing extremely excited. This one brings kind of a neat and unique double barrel mechanic to the game, plus the armor of this tank is kinda stupid. So if you have not seen my previous video about this tank, let me show you the armor of this tank as well. Contradictious, right? Look at this, guys, look at this, you know, this tank goes hull down 250, 280 in tier 8 battles. This is going to be kinda nuts. More hull down you get, the more your armor, the better your armor gets. And you having the option to choose between what type of firing mode you use. By the way, if you switch to the salvo mode, your mobility is hit as well. As you can see, in salvo mode, 20 top speed, 12 moving backwards. So they already added all the details with the two firing modes over here. So this is the dispersion at 100 meters. So yeah, I guess this is just two aiming circles combined plus the oval-like aiming circle also. So those two aiming circles are overlapping each other, which is something to think about. ST66 only armor, nothing honestly interesting. And the TBV, I like this type of tank. I like this type of tank destroyer. It seems to be more aggressive tank destroyer, not because of armor, but because of the gun and the overall build of this tank. So could be something for me, definitely. Let me know, guys, what is the most exciting tank for you, what you are looking forward to seeing on the matchmaking or getting your hand on yourself in the comment section down below. A little bit different video for you today, but I still hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I catch you next time. Adios.